for some boom, baby, boom, rise and shine. There's some shine out here. There's the kids out here playing down here, and there's the ocean view from the apartment. Even though it's kind of raining, we got some models walking and kids chilling. 6'7". It's a youth joke, but they're so cute. He's every morning, look, he catches spiders and holds them in his hand. We call him Spider Boy because he wants to be Spider Man. Cool. Yeah, 6'7". I love it. Bye. And just like that, it's morning motivation time. I'm Mark Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. I'm addicted to this life. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we were walking and the boys were like, "Oh, pro club," and they were looking at my shorts, and they had their baggy shorts on, and they were all super cool, because everybody wants to be super cool, and who doesn't want to be cool? It's fucking cool to be cool, right? But it's also really cool to be real. To be real, maybe I should make that shirt. And I also got to pack up because switching rooms again too. So shells on deck, shells on deck. But what I learned is, having this morning motivation was, especially here in the Philippines, is there's a undertow of jealousy, right? Of inequality. And it's nothing personal. It's not like something that they, go, "Oh, it's you. You're the reason why you have money and we don't," or maybe you have an education, or because I'm from a different country that I had an uplink to or away from poverty, which is pretty much true, right? Like, I'm not going to shit it at all. If I never got my education in America, if I didn't speak clear English, there we are. We're live. I'm going to have to leave it over here. Babe, don't touch the door. Okay. I'm doing morning motivation from here. I'm packing. But, yeah. Jealousy and envy. One of the things I was telling her this morning was that I stopped posting about personal things because they deleted my page when I turned 40. The day before I turned 40 on Facebook, they just deleted my whole page, and I was just like, no one cares anyway. It's not that no one cares, it's just that I could see that I was in a competition of jealousy, right? That I could go to places that other people couldn't afford or never went, or all I want to do is, instead of being happy in the moment, is I can't wait to post the moment and make someone jealous of me. And that's a whole nother disease. That's like picking your poison, and it is a poison. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, bro, to hope that someone else dies. That's one of the things that we do, is we drink the poison expecting the other person to die, and it's a weird mentality. It's definitely one of the 7 deadly sins, but it's something that, if we eat it, right? If we eat the jealousy, if we want to take the, "Oh, I got skinny and I'm traveling and I'm better than you" situation, it plays on me too. It goes into my head, watching someone else have a hotter girlfriend, or I didn't have a girlfriend, or any kind of thing, have a family and I don't have kids, and anything that would make me jealous. I just got off of this thing. And any of the social medias, I was just like, it's just not worth it, and it's not healthy for me, These aren't healthy patterns that I was creating, and I realized that with realize that that's all it is. It's just jockeying for position, or getting someone to envy me doesn't give me any less poverty, or doesn't help me feel better about myself. It's not like, for some people, again, we talked about ego this morning. It's an ego boost for them, for someone to feel jealous, but that means they don't feel whole inside. So sure, you look pretty, and you took the pretty picture, which I see all the time here in the Philippines. Girls just constantly switching phones to take selfies and look pretty. And then there was 3 pretty girls at the same time last night. We were watching on the beach. I don't know if you saw that, babe, but they were all the ones, all their hairs were curled, and they were all dressed up. And then the one was taking photo after photo, and the other one was like, "I curled my hair. Why don't I get photos?" And we talked about it this morning, Cinderella complex, and how the sisters were competing on who's the prettiest, and jealous that she had an outlink or someone that loved her so she could go see other things, or go be with the prince, or whatever it is. We all have something where we like, I want to have it, But instead of changing our habits, we are just jealous that the other person has it. And that's another disorder of the brain, to say, oh, I deserve it, but I didn't do the work to earn it. And this is what ends up happening, especially when you're in the Philippines, for people to see it, and they're working their asses off for pesos, and I'm earning dollars from a business that I created. So since I created it, I feel like I deserve it. And in that kind of mentality or disorder, lets you see the have and have nots of, you know, yeah, sure, I have more money than you, but it costs more money for me to live here and travel. And someone else would be like, oh man, you spent how much money, you know, on breakfast? These guys were kind of grilling us like, how much do you spend on breakfast? How much you started spending on weed? Let's ask for 15,000 pesos, $350, because, oh, you can afford it. It's the full moon party, and pay for 3 tour guides and our meals, and we're going to take you up there. And it was just like, you know, as soon as they saw us buying weed for $25 a gram, you could see the jealousy in their eyes. It wasn't curiosity. It wasn't like, hey, why don't you teach me how to have my own business, or how can I start to get out of the Philippines? It wasn't any of that. It was more like, he has and I don't, right? And I even asked the guy about the girl. My girl's nodding her head right now. I even asked about the girl. The guy was like, hey, why don't you go with girls? He's like, honestly, sir, I'm not even focused on that. They always serve menu here. I'm just worried about money. And I'm thinking, man, your time will pass you by. You'll be an old man, 65, talking about now it's time to get a girlfriend. You know, the time will pass you by, and it doesn't care if you have uplinks. It doesn't care if time goes by. It doesn't care at all. You need to care. You need to care more about what you got going on than what someone else is doing. And that's why I'm having this morning motivation, because a lot of people will fixate on a Hollywood star, right? You know, they got all the spare time to wonder why Brad Pitt is single, or why he divorced Angelina Jolie, or why these people have a life and you don't. It's because you're fixating on them instead of what you can do. And that's a big energy shift. You know, when you're applying your energy to your ego, it strokes you like it's your amigo. I mean, I'm so strong, I'm so pretty, I'm so rich. But really the competition is, am I happy? You know, that am I genuinely happy? Or am I just the stoic bitch that gives the Russian face and looks pretty on the beach, but is all alone and looks miserable inside? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, bro? And that's the competition. The competition's on happiness. Can you derive happiness from your life and not look at someone else and say, oh, I'm jealous? Like, if you really wanted it, really deep down inside wanted it, you could have it. You know what I mean? Like, you can buy the same watch, just like my girlfriend said. She's like, I got these cool shorts from Shein, and then I went all the way to Koh Chang. I'm on the beach, and some other bitch has got the same shorts as me. Not very original, is it? Man. And there it was. These are all extra bags if you need it. Yeah, there's some extra bags. I'm gonna put these in here. We have to change rooms, so I'm just packing and doing 2 things at once. I want to do the morning motivation and rise and shine, and just watch what I saw in people's eyes, you know, being here in the Philippines and watching everybody kind of look at everything and go like, man, you know, as long as I get out, you know, that's all that matters. And I'm on some, you know, we need to go back and save more people, right? Like, there's enough space on the boats in the Titanic to save more people, but that's not what happened. Instead, they saved themselves. And it's one thing to be altruistic and say, oh, I want the whole world to have a job, and I just want everybody to shine, and I say it with my bright teeth, and I'm Miss Universe, and right, Miss Universe? Back in it to win it, you know. Sounds good as a soundbite, but in all actuality, there's a huge wealth divide, and you don't see the Elon Musks of the group or the Jeff Bezos of the group cutting any checks. No, they just want to have more power. And as we watched a movie last night, George Bush stole the election from Al Gore, and anybody that's in power, you know, they just want more. And that's what the guy said. He said, sir, you're already rich. What more do you want? And he's like, more, you know? And that's another sickness too, is not having enough. So Comparison is the thief of joy. You're always going to feel like someone has it better than you, but you don't live in their mindset. You don't live with their parents, their sister, competing with them. Yes, babe. Cinderella, the story, or Snow White, who's the fairest of them all, and who's the prettiest, and if you're not the prettiest, then you're the zero. And it's like, that's not true. I know some girls that ain't that pretty that have husbands and children, and I have nothing. So it's like, well, on an even scale, this race called life, not the human race, and not your skin race and your skin tone, but the race was in life of like, are your parents still married? Take 5 steps forward. Has your phone ever been shut off? Take 5 steps forward. You know what I mean? Like, dude, are you in a healthy relationship? Take another 5 steps forward. And that's what ended up taking place is like, in life, we don't all get the same shake. You know what I mean? I was just watching something about communist Cuba and what's it like to grow up in communist Russia and how you would have to go on the black market just to get some blue jeans, bro. It's not fair. And some people are born in places that aren't fair, and some people are born in places that are natural and exotic, and some people are born in extreme poverty and got no uplinks and are never leaving it. So, there's an imbalance in life, and for us to seek balance, we have to seek it inside of ourselves. It's not like you look for someone to create space or peace. You got to create the space and peace that you seek. What's up, Cryptalia? What up? Thanks for the subscribe. It's just one of those things that you can't hide from your 7 deadly sins. Mine's gluttony. I love to overeat. We were sushi sluts last night. And identify your weaknesses, because everybody's going to have one of them. Maybe it is your vanity. You're like, as long as I'm pretty, everything will be all right. Well, I got news for you. There's more to the wellness wheel than just jealousy and having someone else tell me that I'm pretty. Because I need to believe in it. I need to believe in myself more than I'm just pretty. What about I'm smart? What about I'm ambitious? What about I'm creative, imaginative? All those things. Come back to Coach Chong. We're almost back, baby. We're almost back. How did you know? This person left a... Who is this? This person left us a message from before, babe. They're all like, hey, Coach Hong, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I have to pack too. So it's just one of those where extremely grateful. That's what really took place is instead of my ego trying to post and make other people jealous, I was just really grateful that people are contacting me by email. Somebody by Raphael, shout out to him, went all the way to my email from the YouTube asking for shirts in Brazil. Now, I used to live in Brazil. I used to visit Brazil. I've shipped shirts to Brazil. They stole everything that I've ever tried to send, laptops, weed, you name it, it's all gone. And over $500 worth of a shipment, so I'm hesitant to ship out, but it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be around the world and hold that dear to my heart and say, okay, I live my life. Not that I wanted somebody else to live my life or to be jealous of it, but for me to love my life again and say that it's a present. It's a present to have this present moment and to have moments in general where I can feel safe inside of my brain and happy and not go insane when you come to the next boat party. There's somebody asking, yeah, we missed those boat parties, bro. Trust, believe that. And we missed Coach Chong in general. And that's the truth of it. So, miss Coach Chong. But we'll be there here shortly, actually. The last of the days. There's only 30 days in the Philippines. But it was a life-changing experience for me to see people live, below their means and really still have smiles on their faces. And it just went to show, I had that one moment where the guy was a multi-millionaire and he had the house and he was pissed that the marble wasn't right or just bitching and moaning. And the guys that were building the house, they were on some happy, sharing their food, listening to music. And he's like, the guys that are building my house, making less money than me, are happier than me, and I'm the one with the multi-million-dollar house. It just shows you the displacement of focus, you know. I watched the Banksy, and there was a homeless guy and a rich dude, rich suit with the suit and suitcase, and they're both like, I need more money. And it's that more mentality, as if I'm not enough. And of course, they're like, you are enough, and those shirts are going around and all that good stuff. But are you making enough of your time? Are you making enough of your effort? Are you making enough of your imagination? That's where it takes place. There's the aha moment, the aha, light above your head that I too can make something of my life, and not be jealous of someone, but ask them. It's one of my favorite books, but it says take a millionaire to lunch. And that's what I did. I said to the chick, an Animus Trading Company, what do you do? And she's just like, I just go to Calsan Road and buy wholesale and sell it for retail, mark it up 5 times, and that's what I do. And I'm like, fuck, bitch, you could have texted me that. But I got to learn from her instead of being jealous. Oh, you got a shop and I don't. And, oh, it's probably because you're white and I'm not. And, your parents love you and my parents don't. Or whatever other excuse I wanted to use, use it or lose it, right? I didn't want to put it on anyone else but me. I just saw there was a possibility, That's what I saw. I just was like, oh, shit, someone else is doing it. You know what I mean? Like walking on water. If you saw someone else do it, you would be like, it's possible too. And that's what it is. It's like to say that it's possible. That I'm possible. Instead of saying impossible, you say I'm possible, and you start recreating what was happening inside your head. One of my favorite stories, is the Frito-Lay guy who was a Mexican worker janitor on the bottom basement floor. And guess what? He listened to the intro, when you're doing your employee introduction, and the CEO said, think like a CEO. So he called and he said, you told me to think like a CEO. He calls and talks to the CEO, and he's like, yeah, you listened to that introduction? He's like, I did, sir. And I've been making my own, and it's for the Mexicans, man. We like it spicy, bro. And he was like, really? He came up with flaming hot Cheetos. He created one of the biggest flavors in Frito-Lay history from a janitor's perspective, bro. What's up, Katie? I see you. You still with that woman? Oh, there she is. You still with that woman? The old ball and chain? Babe. That's hilarious. Yes, I am still in a loving, healthy relationship. Thank God. Called my bestie, and she's like, does this one hit you? I'm like, no, thank you. You know what I mean? See you soon on the island. Yeah. Who's Crypto? Cryptorella. I gotta know. I know who it is. She's in the shower, yeah. But that's what it is. Life is a blessing, not a stressing. We have to be able to reframe our minds. That's the biggest blessing I've ever had in my life, is to not look at someone else's shit and go, why don't I have? I look inside myself and said, what do I have to change? What do I have to do to be different? And that's something I don't think the Filipinos do. They just see you have it, they don't. And it's bigger equation than that. It's the math is different. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they saw me running around the convention centers like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get over with Mark Echo so I can fucking put a t-shirt in his hand. You know what I mean? They didn't see that. No, they just see the end process. And that's, I think, is the problem with the envy perspective, is you only see, and my spiritual mentor, Terry Prince, would say that they'll look at 40 years of hard work and call it an overnight success, They're not going to give you all that energy that you had when I was a kid, paying attention in school or doing my homework, or everybody looking at Saint because he knows he's not lazy and he did the work and he knows the answers, and they're cheating off of me and my paperwork instead of doing their own homework. Right. It's one of those, isn't it? Put this in here. It's easier to look at someone and just go, oh, I could have had that, if I had that husband. Oh, I'm talking to the wall. I could have had that if I had that husband, and I could have done that. Last time I saw you guys were sort of beefing. What? Wow. It's funny in people's perspective. In no way, shape, or form are we a perfect couple. Don't get it twisted. We work on our team. It's a team effort. Listening to each other, not cutting each other off, being there for each other when someone's being sensitive. It's all a blessing. And that's the truth of the lesson. I'll keep this in here so it stays cold. Yeah, stay cold, stay bold. But that's going to be up to you, you know, in each individual to say, am I present in this relationship, or am I taking advantage of it and not adding to it? You know what I mean? And no jealousy and envy here. It's been all hard work and well earned. And that's why I'm fucking grateful, because it's one of those things where nobody handed it to me. I had to build it myself. And that means nobody can take it from me because I built it, right? So that's the whole thing of life is, you know, easy for us to see a completed house, you know, but not easy for us to be on the roof when it's summertime driving those nails. So it's a mentality, you know. You could say, oh, he's lucky, or it's because she has that husband, or they were born in that country. There's a lot of excuses you can give yourself and other people want to hear, but it's also one of those things where it's like, did you empower yourself? Did you say, how did you do it? Did you take that person to lunch and learn from them? Probably not. No, that's not what you did. You just got jealous and said, oh, he has what I don't have, or I want his watch, or I want his car, or as soon as I have a car, I'll have the right girl, or all this other shit that we put limited beliefs on ourselves. And it's hard to explain to somebody that's from a fourth world when they got their toilet out their front door, which we saw at the Ati village, you know? Yeah, that was weird. A toilet in the front door, like you have to walk past the toilet. Anyway, my point is that there's people with a lot less, and they have more joy. And it's a really tough perspective that I had a long time ago, 15 years ago from Thailand, when I'm going to school. I'm going to school 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning with my suit and tie on, going down the Chao Phraya River, teaching kids English. And then when I came home to my fully furnished apartment and condo above the Chao Phraya River in Bangkok with my Finland girlfriend and all these things, and all the people I kept walking past were happier than me, right? I make 3 times more money than my English assistant at school, but they're as happier than shit. And I was running around, the test ain't right, we got to go get the test, we got to do this, we got to do that. And they're like, none of that's going to happen, bro. It's the Queen's birthday. And you don't know this in Thailand, but the Queen's birthday is Mother's Day. I didn't know. I was like, oh shit, we got to get these tests done. I'm so American. Drive, go. And they were like, no, jai yin yin, right? Settle your soul. And I had to learn that word that day. Jai yin yin, you know, settle your soul. Don't be envious. Don't be jealous. Don't drum your ego or your vanity. These things will only lead you to endless comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're going to sit there and go, oh, I have and they don't, instead of how'd you do it? You know what I mean? That's the morning motivation. It's like, go ask them, how'd you do it? And that's what some of these guys do. They walk around with millionaires. Sir, can I just borrow a second of your time? How'd you make your money? Oh, I sold shares, or I sell cars, or I inherited it, or I built a business, and learning from them. Instead, it's easier just to be jealous, like, oh, he's got a hot chick in the hot car, right? And that's simple math. Elaborate your equation. You know, look at it from a different perspective, just like your boy Mark Echo did. He did an actual equation in the book for imagination. You know, it was like, you know, you got imagination, you got your Willy Wonka factor, you got to divide it by your effort and your creativity. It was a whole equation for imagination. It was so amazing in his book, and I love it to this day. But, you know, for us to decipher what is the equation of happiness and how do we attain it, it isn't through the path of 7 deadly sins. You're not going to get it by eating more. You're not going to get it by sleeping more. You're not going to get it by being pretty more. You're not going to get it by envy. All these things are going to just eventually kill you and wear you down, and it's a waste of positive energy. And that's why I'm having this conversation this morning. Why is it so hot in here? I don't know. It's all right. But that's what it takes, dude. It takes a person that's willing to put aside their jealousy, willing to see past all the envy, and just give it a chance and say, okay, how did they get there? Me personally, I've been studying everybody. Right now I'm studying your boy John Paul Getty. How did he become the richest man in the 1950s? He didn't even have any telecommunication skills. He was a wildcatter for oil, and he just didn't look happy. Or my favorite, Dale Carnegie, who was actually the richest man in the world from U.S. Steel. Before it became U.S. Steel, it was Carnegie Steel, and he's the one that transformed the world. And then it was Rockefeller, but Rockefeller wasn't that happy. And then it was Henry Ford, and he was a racist. And just all these people that made it, right? I'd like to say I made it, and not to the level that they made it, but the level of happiness that I wanted to see inside. That's the biggest thing, that I can share my life with someone and be like, welcome to Mark St. Magic. And she has her own magic too, her own imaginations and her own visions, and I trust in those too. You know, I'd like, hey, I had a dream last night. You want to hear about it? Hell yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Like, bring it on. Bring on your ideas. Bring on your dreams. Bring on your imagination. I want to see you live your life the way that you could see it. That's the best part of the vision, is that we can walk around and see other people's lifestyles. And love it. The kids in the alleyway, 6'7" and Pro Club, bro. You know, they saw the Pro Club shirts, and I was like, shorts, and I was like, yeah, we're in the Pro Club short club. You know what I mean? And the cute little kids you took a picture with, all the girls got all pretty and beautiful. Where's your picture, babe? Yeah, where's your camera? You got to see this photo. Darlings, all of them. Little angels. But that's where you get it from. You know, you get it from the little things in life that we're even allowed to see it in life. And there it is. Look how cute these little girls are. Oh my God. They're just illuminated. Look, even the little one's trying to get her eye in it, you know? They're so cute. Oh, these faces. Do you think any of them are thinking about money? No. They're thinking about life. And that's the best ticket. We got friends that have died, people that aren't alive, people that don't get to live their lives fully. They waste their time looking at magazines, and they waste their time worried about actors and people that don't even know them, instead of putting that time in themselves and like, well, life's not fair. Yeah, because you just wasted 3 hours comparing yourself to someone that doesn't even know you exist, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, no wonder why you didn't apply any of your effort to your bad habits or change yourself. You just want to compare against someone else, and that's a very deadly poison to drink, because you're going to be the only one dying and not existing. And that's what we want. We want people to exist more. We want people to put that on the dream board and say, I'm going to go there, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put my mind to it, and then it's going to happen. And that's the faith of it all. So, you know, I'm not talking about blind faith. I'm not talking about religious faith. I'm talking about an equation that equals faith, right? So it's like, if I put energy into it, you all right? In your imagination, into a business plan, or still sick, or an idea, or a path, right? A path out of your mentality, out of the way that you're thinking, so you can go and escape into the world and escape and see things that you want to see with your eyes, and start to realize real dreams instead of real lies, and realize that you are the creator of your own energy. It's not something that's outside of you. You don't need those things. You don't need your ego to placate you. You don't need someone to tell you that you're pretty. You just need to walk with a smile, right? The sexiest thing a girl will ever have, the prettiest thing she'll ever do is smile. And guess what? That's what you do. And when you see that, that's when people be like, I want to smile too. And they do. They stare at us. They want to sit next to us at dinner. You know, it's kind of weird. They want to come around our energy, and then they get up and walk away. It's kind of weird, but whatever, you know, and they're staring at us. I could see it. And I'm like, you're sitting at dinner with your husband who's paying for your meal. You guys just had a child. Mom's holding the grandchild on her lap. That's your happiness. And you're staring over at us wondering why we're so happy. Makes no sense, man. Stay in your own circle, stay in your own mind, create a path for your way out, and that's exactly how you beat jealousy and envy. That's your morning motivation. Saints Addiction, peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. We'll see you on the other side. As soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But the other side of your fear, other side of your excuses, other side of the world, because that's where we'll be, but that's where the mentality is. And that's what I keep telling them. A positive mental attitude, you know, kill all your bad habits. Break away from the 7 deadly sins. Start getting your 7 virtues, and they're out there. I don't have it on me. I'm on this phone, but there's 7 virtues on the other side of 7 deadly sins. Where's your phone? putting it away. Let me see if I can Google it. There's 7 virtues that you need on the other side of 7 deadly sins. I hate this phone. Hate iPhone, bro. It's so ridiculous. Look how long this is taking to log in. This is stupid. Let's do this. It's not navigating. Sure. Accept. Oh my God. 7 virtues. No, it's trying to speak French. 7 virtues. These are the opposite of envies, right? So that's humility, charity, chastity, gratitude, temperance, patience, and diligence. Work on those, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace. Good catch, babe. She's got some skills, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.